It is Monday, August 18th, 2025. This is another edition of Baseball Today presented to you by Mountain Dew. Looking for a refreshing citrusy kick this summer? Go grab yourself a Mountain Dew. We are back together again. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, intern Sawyer along for the ride as well. Haven't seen you since Thursday, I do believe. We kind of missed each other on Wednesday and Friday. Hope you had a wonderful weekend with the family in Cabo.
I did. You can see I got a nice little tan going. Yeah. It was very relaxing. Just the fam. It was nice, man. A lot of snorkeling, Chris. I'm like, I was diving deep in the waters. Yeah.
What was the most interesting thing you saw underwater?
The ray. There was like some rays. That was fun. And then there was this one fish. It looked like he lost his school, and it kept following us around like we were its new school.
Oh,
yeah. I actually felt bad for it.
Do you have a new family pet? Did you take it on the plane?
No. It was a lot of fun though, man. So I appreciate you asking.
Good. All right. We got a lot to get to. It's my favorite weekend of the year, Players Weekend. It lets guys show their personality, talk a lot about their journey of getting to the big leagues, what's important in their life off of the field. And that's why I love it. And there were so many wonderful gloves and cleats and messages and tear-jerking moments as well. It's hard to narrow just one. But I do want to give a tip of the cap to Joel Pozo of the St. Louis Cardinals. His son, after he was born 5 years ago, suffered a series of strokes. And he has had an uphill battle, and he has done a tremendous job. I believe the son's name is Paul, if I'm not mistaken. There's Mercy Children's Hospital in St. Louis where he has been getting treated. And so the Pozo family has become very close with the staff and a lot of the kids there. And so for his Players Weekend, he took a bat and he had all the kids put their painted handprints on the bat. And he said, I'm going to use this in the game. Some kids were like, can you hit a home run for us? And we know how tough it is to hit a home run. Well, Sunday against the Yankees, this happened.
1-1 strike. Swing and a drive. Hammer toward left. Go, baby, go. It's gone. The magic wand of Joel Pozo puts the Cardinals in front.
We've talked a lot about that special bat. That's his son, Paul, on the knob of it. And that is a slider driven out of the ballpark by Joel Pozo. What a moment.
You ain't kidding, what a moment. I mean, the first time I just heard about the story before he hit the home run, I had tears in my eyes. I mean, I'm an emotional guy anyway. But I was watching, I was like, oh, my God, I think Pozo just hit a homer with the bat. It was incredible.
Yeah, there's nothing better. And, he's probably not at the time thinking about hitting a homer there. He's trying to win a ball game to keep the Cardinals alive this season. But I guarantee after he hits it, running the bases, he's thinking about all those kids, man, especially his son. That's really cool.
Yeah, he said he teared up. How can you not, for God's sakes, with all the emotion that's running through his veins? And the most important thing is that Paul's doing great. They said he was going to be a little slower in terms of physically developing, walking, things of that nature. He has blown past all those benchmarks that the physicians put out there. And so that is the best news of all, and a wonderful, wonderful story. It's just one of many that we could have highlighted this weekend. You can share your favorite. Please do. Share us a link, everything else in the comments section, because there were so many good ones out there.
I thought did you love Cal Raleigh and all the baby pictures?
Loved it.
Pictures?
That's my thing. That's my jam right there. Yeah, loved it. Cool. Loved that chest protector. That was great. All right. As for the baseball, Padres went into their series in LA against the Dodgers, up a game. They leave town down 2.
Mookie hits a high fly ball, left field and deep. This ball is gone! Mookie has his moment and gives the Dodgers the lead. 3-2. Got him swinging. That's a sweep for LA.
Very satisfying, considering where we were 4 days ago. Just the way we, ramped up the focus, the intensity, and obviously, winning 3 ball games here.
That, of course, Dave Roberts, after 2 great calls from Steven Nelson on Spectrum Sportsnet out in L.A. So how big a deal was the sweep?
I mean, it's huge for the Dodgers. Talking about momentum and, where they were standing kind of like coming into this weekend. The Padres had a chance to kind of really open things up. And instead they went the exact opposite way. 2-game lead for them now. And I think a couple big things happened in the series, not just winning and sweeping, which is great for them. There's a lot to like for the Dodgers because Mookie hits the homer and comes up big in this series. That's great. Your bullpen kind of holds up, which I think is probably the biggest point here, because their starters have been they have starters. It's fine. Kershaw does a great job. Snell does a great job. Glasnow does a great job. But really, it's the focus on the bullpen. They got the job done. They got Yates coming back. They got Tanner Scott coming back. So, is everything kind of happening at the right time for the Dodgers? It feels that way. They have one of the lightest schedules as far as winning percentage going forward against the teams they're playing. So, that seems to be going their way. And if they go into San Diego this weekend and win that series, I think it's going to be a situation where they probably don't look back anymore and they kind of just take the division. Don't you feel that way?
Well, I want to get there first. Both teams are playing God, I hate using this term when I'm talking about the San Francisco Giants, who are going to be playing the Padres, but it's a fact. The doormats of the division, right? LA is in Colorado. The Giants are taking on the Padres, and the Giants are just in a miserable, miserable stretch. So they each have a series to kind of help themselves before whatever's going to happen at Petco next weekend, and I cannot wait for that. I think it's going to be a blast. I think the people down there are going to go nuts and do everything in their power to have some sort of effect on the game. I thought this was much more of a telling story for the Dodgers and where they are and where they've been. They have been an average team, it has felt like, for almost 2 months. And I don't know exactly what their record was over the last 2 months, but they had major shortcomings. And you and I both felt like they were a little light in what they did at the trade deadline, particularly in their bullpen. You mentioned their bullpen. They pitched 10 innings this weekend in the 3-game set and gave up only 3 runs. That is very, very doable for them. When that is the unquestioned weakness of your team, Mookie Betts is still significantly under an OPS of 700 for the season. It's incredible what has happened to him. He knows it. He admitted in the post-game interview, he's like, hey, it was nice I could finally contribute here. If he can turn it on the last 5+ weeks of this season and into October, everything else will be forgotten. We're talking about the worst season of his career by far. They need him to get back to being Mookie, or they can't win this thing, in my opinion.
Win the whole thing?
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. Without that first 4 hitters, I guess I'll go 4 with Shohei, him, Freeman, and Will Smith. Those guys have to be at their best. And if they are, then obviously it makes them one of, if not the favorite to win it. So I agree. But all those things feel like they can easily come into place. Mookie can be that guy. The bullpen that struggled mightily, throughout the year. We've seen this happen time and time again in a baseball season where hey man, it comes down to crunch time and guys get the job done. And then you start to pare it down to your best relievers. All these things are right in front of the Dodgers.
Yeah. The one thing that still would bother me if I were a Dodgers fan is I don't know who gets the ball in the 9th inning. It feels like every time it's a critical situation, it's a different guy. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's the best way to go into it. I mean, it has worked out in seasons past. We have also seen a lot over the last 10, 12 years, starting pitchers close out the last out of the World Series. It has happened. So they're going to end up throwing some starter back there that could have a significant impact. Very quickly, from the Padres standpoint, they got a lot of guys on. They left a lot of guys on. That was kind of the name of the game for them. I know Padres fans were a little upset with the way that Mike Shildt managed the games. We talk about this every 2 to 3 weeks, that people always hate what their manager does with their bullpen and when they pull guys and things of that nature. I suppose the best news for the Padres is that it sounds like Michael King's stint on the injured list is going to be short rather than lengthy. And so I've mentioned that if he comes back and is the Michael King we saw heading into October last year, they're in good shape. I think it'll be fine. I think next weekend's still going to be a dogfight. This thing is far from over. Anybody that thinks it was signed and sealed on Sunday is not paying attention.
I want both these teams to win. I want them to sweep against the Giants, against the Rockies, go in, Padres down 2 with a chance to even it or go ahead. I want this to be a battle, Chris.
Yeah, I do too. I actually wouldn't mind seeing it be a 1 game, going in. I think those are, I kind of dig that stuff. But that'll be the final series. We'll be breaking that down when we get to Friday's show. No question about it.
Let's give Clayton Kershaw some snaps. What he's
Yeah.
done last 3 starts, 18 innings pitched, only 2 earned runs. Like what the hell?
I know. It's incredible. It really is incredible.
Does he start a game in the playoffs for them? That's the question. Another day.
I mean, he does. If it only goes 3, he doesn't. Now that Snell's back and throwing pretty well. Glasnow, Snell, Yamamoto.
Sasaki's on his way back.
Who'd you say?
Roki?
Oh yeah, he's not getting a start.
No, I think he might be that guy you see at the end of games, maybe.
Sure. Or we know that when they get to the playoffs, you don't see a ton of starters past the 5th inning. So you've got to get some outs from guys that you normally wouldn't get outs from in key situations in the middle of games. He might be that guy. You're right. All right, let's move on to the NL East. The Phillies end up splitting a 4-game set in our nation's capital. Real interesting weekend for the Phillies because it marked the return of 2 big-name players for them, one on offense, one pitcher. Alec Boehm came off the injured list, blasted a shot, also took a nasty hit by pitch. He wasn't happy about it at all from Connor Pilkington. As far as on the mound, not as good. Aaron Nola, his first game in 3 months, 2 1/3, gave up 6 runs. Even worse, their ace, Zack Wheeler, has been having some shoulder stiffness. There is a report, now it's been determined, blood clot near his right shoulder.
Yeah, I'm thinking a lot about Zach and his family because it's not a hamstring injury or something like that. So, but I feel good about the depth that we have. If we have to go to a 6, it could be Painter, it could be somebody else. But we've just got to carry on.
All right, so Wheeler went on the injured list. There's going to be further testing this week to determine next course of action and how long he may be out. So we don't know if it's the rest of the regular season. We don't know if he's done for the year. We just don't know. Is Phillies World Series dream over if he's a no-go?
Oh, it's not over, Chris. It's not over, but that's probably the biggest hit that they can take is not having him in the rotation. You're right. We have to see, how long he's going to be out, what they can do for a blood clot, because it is very serious. I think we have to always mention that. Like, we're just rooting for him to be okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And obviously we want to see him pitch. You're seeing the stats on the board right now if you're on YouTube, and he's had a phenomenal year. Do I think it's over? No. Like, you still can run out Christopher Sanchez, Jesus Luzardo, and Ranger Suarez, and then somebody else. Like, does that mean... I mean, he mentioned Andrew Painter, and that's great. Phillies fans are always excited about this guy. He hasn't had a great year in AAA or in the minor leagues this year. So I don't think you can count on him coming up and being like a guy just yet. Maybe you can. Maybe he just gets him going. But it's not over. But that's the biggest hit they can take is being without Zack Wheeler. That's my take on it.
I hate to say it. If I were a Phillies fan, I would be. First of all, you're right about the whole blood clot thing. Those are serious health issues. Get well. Our job is, not unfortunately, but our job is to talk about the baseball side of things and what we think it might happen. And we are kind of stepping out of bounds a little bit without knowing the timetable on this. So we're playing the what if game. If he's not available, it is over. It is over because of what he does in October.
Yeah.
Trev, last year, they lost a game in which he pitched 7 innings and gave up 1 hit. 1 frickin' hit. He was incredible. Somehow they lost the game, and that was demoralizing for them. He is so good. He has made 11 career playoff starts, an ERA a smidge over 2. He averages 6 1/3 innings per playoff start, which in today's game is an insane number. Like most starters, it feels like 4 2/3 we're happy with. We'll turn it over to the bullpen. This guy's getting an extra 7 or 8 outs sometimes. That is enormous. Enormous. Now, you mentioned Christopher Sanchez has been as good as anyone and is going to be right up there with Paul Skeens to win the NL Cy Young Award, in my opinion. Jesus Luzardo has had some real high moments this year and some real down moments. Ranger Suarez, we have seen what a bulldog he can be in the playoffs. He has been horrific in the second half of this season, an ERA over 6.5. Taijuan Walker, I will say this, guy who at times has not even made the playoff roster for them, has been excellent since July, great in August, really good in July. So maybe that's a guy that you lean on. But when you're talking about taking out one of the dudes in the entire league,
and it's crazy, Chris, because we should be saying Chris Sanchez, Luzardo, Suarez, and then whatever Taijuan. But we didn't even mention Aaron Nola. It's been that bad for him this year.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're looking at your crystal ball, like, is there a scenario where Nola figures it out? Like maybe, like I looked at his savant numbers earlier today because we were talking about him on Talking Baseball, and like his pitches just aren't moving the same. Like he's not getting the same depth on his curveball or his sinker, and they're getting hit. They're getting crushed this year. But the thing I know about pitchers is it's one adjustment away. Like, can Nola figure that out before the playoffs happen? And if that happens, Chris, then we're talking about a completely different scenario here. But it's we have to see it first on the field. I still think the Phillies have a great shot at making a playoff run, even without Zack Wheeler. I truly do. Does it mean that it's taking a hit? Obviously, but I'm not ruling them out. I'm just not.
Nola was really good in the beginning of his career in the playoffs. So 2022, he pitched really well, except against San Diego in the NLCS that year. Other than that, he pitched really well in the beginning, and then he hit somewhat of a bumpy road. Last year, not good against the Mets. Gave up 4 runs in 5 innings. Yeah, it's funny. I didn't even think of him. That's how.
Yeah, I know. It's been a lost season for him so far.
It has been. He's had some weird injuries. What was it? Ankle and something else that put him on the shelf for 3 months. Yeah. I don't know, Philly fan. I want to hear from you. It's because we haven't even talked about one of their biggest shortcomings October last year, and that is their chase rate. I mean, we don't even focus on their offense. Like, we think, oh, the offense will carry them. They'll be fine. And you look at that lineup and you're like, it should. But remember last year when they got eliminated, all those guys were talking about, we were just chasing way too many pitches, and that could happen again.
I mean, yeah, there's some swing and miss there, but there's also some homers.
Yo, totally. And I want them around. I want to see them around.
They're
just awesome. They're a fun team. I love the vibe in that ballpark. Really good. I want to see them get far in this thing. Man, if you don't have Wheeler, get well, buddy. I don't know, Philly fan. Let us know how you're doing today. Oof. All right, let's be real, everybody. Most skincare products aren't made for men. When they are, they're not great. They're overly complicated. They're packed with questionable ingredients. They just don't deliver results. You know what? That's where our friends at Caldera Lab come in. They have redefined men's skincare by combining advanced science with high-quality, non-toxic ingredients. They create a simple, effective routine that actually works. Each product, like the Good, the eye serum, the base layer, it's formulated to support skin health and improve the look and feel of your skin. In a consumer study, men who use Caldera Lab products reported noticeable improvements. 100% said their skin looked smoother and healthier. Almost 97% saw an improvement in skin hydration and texture, and almost 94% said their skin had a more youthful appearance. Listen, dudes, skincare doesn't have to be complicated, but it should be good. Upgrade your routine with Caldera Lab. See the difference for yourself. Go to calderalab.com/today. Use the code TODAY at checkout. 15% off your first order. You will feel and look better as well. Skincare stuff's important, dude. I'm telling you. Take it on. Put your sunblock on every day. Some of this stuff the Caldera Lab will have sunblock built in. It is important no matter, even if you're going to the beach or the golf course or whatever you do, it doesn't matter. If you're just walking from your car to somewhere, you need to have stuff on your face. Protect it. You don't want to look like a beat-up catcher's mitt at age 55.
I was just telling Jake that, like, I'm no longer a young man. I'm just a man now.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to take care of the skin. Actually, Caldera Lab, I just ran out of the under eye cream. If you guys want to send me out a new package, that'd be great.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sure it'll be there shortly. I hear you. Does this skin look 54?
Your skin looks good. I've been using it.
I've always had good youthful skin. Very lucky. Speaking of youth, the Little League Series, the classic. It was back. Mets took care of business against the Seattle Mariners. We'll talk a little bit more about that. I think the thing that made us all kind of sit up and go, was when Commissioner Rob Manfred joined the ESPN booth. He talked about expansion. He talked about realignment.
I think if we expand, it provides us with an opportunity to geographically realign. I think we could save a lot of wear and tear on our players in terms of travel. And I think our postseason format would be even more appealing for, entities like ESPN, because you'd be playing up out of the East, out of the West, and that 10 o'clock time slot where we, sometimes get Boston, Anaheim, would be two West Coast teams, and that 10 o'clock slot that's a problem for us sometimes becomes a real opportunity for our West Coast audience. So I think, I think the owners realize that there's demand for Major League Baseball in a lot of great cities, and we have an opportunity to do something good around that expansion process.
How much did your ears perk up?
A little bit. I think we've heard rumblings of expansion, realignment for years now. But to have the commissioner come on, a big broadcast during the year and talk about it, I feel like that means something. That means that they're really, really wanting to do this. I am a huge fan of realignment and going more regional with actually regional with the divisions, and really trying to figure that out. I don't know if he's talking about ditching AL, NL completely and like kind of swapping teams throughout. When's the last time we did that? Was the Astros?
Yes. I mean, the Astros and the Brewers have both switched leagues, right? The Astros were in the NL for a long, long time. The Brewers were in the AL for a long, long time. That might be actually.
Do you think people would be so say we just did it and we said, all right, let's get these rivalries in place now. Let's go really geographical and maybe even get rid of AL, NL. Like, there's people would hate that, right?
Well,
I wouldn't. I don't care about stuff like that. But there's a lot of people who care deeply about the history. Yes.
How would you have a World Series?
Well, you'd have to have two leagues. I think.
So you're just saying reorganize
the leagues, or I guess you wouldn't have to. What the way they did it back in the day was just the two top teams, record-wise, which I don't like. But I don't know. Yeah, I think you still have to have two leagues. I just would like them to be reorganized.
Well, there's been an AL and an NL forever. We didn't get to divisional play until 1969. So there was just an AL and an NL.
Yeah, then yes.
So at the end of the regular season, there were no rounds of the playoffs. It was just, boom, you advance right to the World Series.
Insane. Yankees fans.
Okay, let's not do that. You're going to stir a shit pot. So you better stop that right now. Let's talk about what it would look like. You're okay with ditching the firm structures of what we have for the American League and National League and just kind of reorganizing at will?
Yes.
So if would the Mets and Yankees be in the same division in your world?
Yes.
So the Mets would jump from the National League to the American League.
Or vice versa. I don't know. Whatever.
Do you think that Yankee fans would be okay with jumping from the American League to the National League?
Why are Yankees fans held to a higher regard than Mets fans?
I'm asking you a question. Do you think they'd be okay with it?
We'd have to call it something different. That's what I think.
You want to call it something different.
American National League out. Let's try something cool. Let's do something fun.
So in this world, the goal is to have more interesting playoffs, I think, right?
Okay.
At the end of the day, because that's the bonus baby that drives the financial television world is October. That's why everybody signs up for the regular season package. Yes, we'll give you that inventory, but we care about October because that's when the most eyeballs are on the sport. So with that being said, are we talking about 8 4-team divisions for 32 teams like the NFL?
You can do it a bunch of different ways. You can split the numbers up a bunch of different ways. We can do 4 8-team divisions. I think East-West is what we should do instead of American and National, like East-West. And I think
where's Kansas City?
What's that?
Where's Kansas
Yeah,
City?
you got to make some decisions on some of the teams that are in the middle of the country. Obviously, I don't think there's no like you can't do like split the Mississippi because it wouldn't work that way. But as soon as you get in those, I think East versus West makes a lot of sense as well. There's like a traditional United States rivalry between those two coasts or those two parts of the country. I won't say coast; people get mad at me for that.
Right.
Those two parts of the country. So I don't know. I think that makes sense. But
So,
there's a
you know,
bunch of ways you could do it. I just think baseball fans should be open to it. Don't
Yes.
say no. Let's not do it. Let's just keep it the way it is.
That's to me. That's the most important thing is we have to listen and talk about it, and don't be. There are people who are going to say, "Don't tell me how to fan." I got it. I understand. Like you're steeped in tradition and don't want anything else. What is best for the sport? I thought Rob Manfred made a great point that we lose entire audiences when he used the example of the Red Sox playing the Angels. I mean, that's something that hasn't happened, I don't think, in 20 years in the playoffs or something like that, it feels like. Maybe I'm wrong. But I understand his point that when an AL East team heads to an AL West team, the game's on at 10:10 Eastern, that's not good for anyone. It just isn't good. The NBA, those late night games aren't the Lakers against, some team from the East, because that's not what the playoffs are. It's just not what they are. So that's what makes it interesting. You can stay up. If there's a 10:30 tip, you're going to watch Denver play the Lakers. It's cool. It's great.
And that's what they are. I'm not a huge NBA guy. It's East-West.
Right. It is East-West.
So where does where does their line?
Dividing line?
Yeah, what's that?
The most East, I believe the most East team in the West is New Orleans.
Because Oklahoma City is in the Western Conference.
Yes. Well, they're the NBA champs, and they are in the Western Conference, and they're right above Dallas. Minnesota is in the West.
Okay.
So those are the furthest Eastern teams. Like I mentioned, New Orleans is the furthest, most East Western team in the NBA. But look, baseball used to
be wonky, but it makes sense. Like once you categorize teams, it's fine.
Right. And for people that are going to, get their panties in a bunch, just hold on here. I'm old enough to remember when the Atlanta Braves were in the National League West. The National League West.
That's crazy.
Atlanta isn't even on the west side of Georgia. So forget about the rest of it. I do think it'll be fun to talk about. I think it'll be energizing. I think people can come up with these crazy things. I did see, there were some people like Jim Bowden put out, here's what my 32-team realignment would look like. And I think in one division, he had Mets, Yankees, Red Sox, Phillies, maybe. So you're talking about 2 of those 4 teams not making it to the playoffs every year?
Well, depends how they would choose for the playoffs. I don't know.
But you can't have more than...
We could have wild cards all come from there.
Well, right now, what do we have? 12 teams in the playoffs every year? I mean, max, you're going to do 14, but
you can't do... Adding more playoffs teams to me is not it. It is not it for me. So, expand teams, great. Bring baseball to... Where is Jim Bowden? Where does he have the expansion teams? Portland and Nashville?
I think he had Nashville and Charlotte, maybe? That doesn't sound right, though. I apologize. I don't remember which one it was. So
yeah, I mean, look, I think we get in our heads a lot in baseball. We're steeped in tradition and keep things the way they are. It's like, go look at the history of the game. Like things have changed a lot, all the time, especially, over the last 20 years.
All right. So a lot to cover in our comments.
Yes.
You start off with this is a multiple answer area in the comments. Are you in favor of realignment and expansion? So that'll be a yes, no on that. Then how many divisions do you want to see? Are you okay with removing the traditional teams out of the American and National League in order to reorganize this stuff? And anything else?
No, we're changing it, Chris. We already decided that.
We are. That's true.
East-West.
We should send a copy of today's show to the commissioner's office.
Who would that? You can't go the Yankees are now in the National League. I actually understand that. It just doesn't sound right to them and whatever. But East-West, you couldn't really argue with.
Producer Dan did confirm Jim Bowden had Nashville and Charlotte.
Producer Dan's out on this conversation. Anything Yankees related, out.
Yeah, that is. Oh, he isn't for it. He just told us he's for it.
Okay.
Maybe we have to rethink it then. He said he, as a Yankee fan, elitist that he is, said they're coming to the American League. We're not going over there.
Can we just have Dan able to talk instead of us relaying his message?
I don't know. We'll have to. That's for next season's budget.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe we got to keep him silent, or at least like one of those buttons.
Him in his cage. Better. That's another thing. Would you like to be able to hear producer Dan during the show? Throw that in the comments too while you're at it, and hit a thumbs up and subscribe and like. Anyway, other stuff from the Little League weekend there in Williamsport. Big Dumper signing the toilet seat. Were you into that?
I mean, yeah, I guess. Do you think he likes his nickname at this point?
He's such a good guy. I think he just goes with it.
He is a really good guy, man.
He's wonderful.
Yeah, I really enjoyed meeting him. He's a good dude. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the toilet seat. Where are you at with that?
I laughed. But then again, I'll do anything. So yes, I would sign those things all day.
Okay.
It would. I'm not so sure
Do
I
you
would
think
sign
he was
it.
like, do you think he asked, is that a new toilet seat or has that been sat on?
I would make sure somebody wiped that shit down, literally. Little League handshake line after the game. In favor or not?
I mean, I am in favor of it, but like I never got to do it. That's hilarious. There's some things that just change once you get into pro ball, that being one of them right there. You shake hands with your own team. Imagine the bad game. Like people were getting hit.
Right. Well, I think it would have
quickly. Playoffs. No, excuse me. It wasn't playoffs. We're playing Westlake High School. This is when I was at Crespi, my high school.
By the way, Westlake High School, I believe, is where Christian Yelich
went there. A lot of guys have been there. Great. He wasn't there at the time. This one guy just talking crap. This, some rich kid talking crap, right? Anyways, I'm here. My best friend Ollie, who is right behind me.
Mm-hmm.
This guy at the end of, we shaking hands after the game. He kind of like grabs my jersey, and I go and I'm ready to swing on him because he's been talking so much crap at me. Ollie had him in a headlock before I could even
nice Ollie.
Take my arm out, just grab this guy and had him down there and just held him. And this guy, I mean, what are you going to do? This guy's got you in a headlock. You try to be a tough guy. But I don't know. I'd love to see that, actually. A little scrum.
Crespi and
Westlake. In front of all the little
going at it. First to Three Falls wins. Let's do it. I like it for one time a year. I love it. I dig it.
You know what they should do? This is my new thing. Rob Manfred, hire me, please. At the end of a playoff series,
kind of has.
You should have to shake hands with the opposing team, win or loss.
That's what they do in hockey. It's the best tradition in sports.
They do that in hockey?
At the end of a playoff series, they do that. They do the handshake line.
They fight? Like, they must fight all the time in that.
Dude, the craziest playoff series was, 96 or 7 or 8? The Red Wings and the Avalanche.
Okay.
Two great teams at that point. They went against each other. There was some serious BS that went on in that. I'm talking fights, cheap shots, guys checking from behind. And there was one guy who says, afterward, I can't believe I frickin' shook his hand in the postgame.
Do they hold that like in such regard, like a sportsmanship regard, where they don't fight in the handshake line? Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's a thing.
That's cool.
And the best is when the goalies meet. They sit there and they hang out for like 5 minutes and talk because they're at opposite ends. And
they never face each other.
No, it's great. It's great. There it is. Go watch the 30 for 30 on that Red Wings Avalanche. You will love it. God almighty, it was brutal. Last thing I wanted to show from Williamsport. I love this. There's a Mid-Atlantic team from Pennsylvania that was there at the game. And when Pete Alonso struck out, they gave him all the shit for walking. I love it. They're right there and they're so excited they get to hang out with major leaguers all day, but you cannot take the Philly fan out of Philly fan. Oh, you don't love it, do you?
If it was my squad, I wouldn't like that.
If you were the coach?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I'm pretty hard on my players.
Then let them be fans.
Fine.
I'm sure they weren't saying.
Are they all Phillies fans?
They're from
the
Pennsylvania.
only pass they get is if they're all Phillies fans.
That's what it was. They're a team from Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still, I don't know.
I think if you were to ask Pete Alonso, he'd be like, well, yeah. I mean, they're not supposed to.
I'm
like
sure
it.
Pete Alonso wouldn't care.
I'm sure he would.
Look, man, maybe I'm just, angry old man today.
A little bit.
But I still think there's a line where you're like, hey, let's just be respectful. I don't even like my kids dancing and doing all that. I'm like, come on, guys.
Oh, boy.
I'm like, a little bit's fine, but not like so much.
FUN with a null sign over it.
No, that's not true.
That's what your team uniforms are. No fun. No, we're the no fun team.
We have fun. There's okay. There's fun and there's disrespectful. And I just tell our kids, like, let's have fun, but let's not be disrespectful to the other team.
I'm with you.
Okay.
These kids were having
fun.
What?
We need more people to say what I'm saying, that you just can't let kids do whatever the hell they want.
That is true. 100% accurate.
Gosh.
Yes. But you can let them have fun. Let's move on to this.
All right.
Next topic. How big a deal are these following things on a scale of 1 to 10? This is not fun for Astros fans. Josh Hader shut down for 3 weeks, hopes to be back for the playoffs.
10. 10, because look, the Astros have been hanging on to that lead in the West. They want to win the West, to whether they're going to host a series or not. They want to try to get out of the wild card round, and hanging on is going to be tough without a guy who's been phenomenal for them at the back end of the bullpen. It's been one of their calling cards of their team. One of the most consistent parts of their team has been the bullpen, and now you're without Josh Hader, and that's a huge deal.
Yeah, it's a 10 plus, in part because they have been struggling.
Well, Jordan's coming back, though. He's starting his rehab assignment.
Right, he's starting a rehab assignment tomorrow, which is big deal, and they're going to need him. July 6th, they were season high 20 games over 500 were the Astros. Since then, they are 14-20.
Yeah.
That's not great. Reds, they blew a lead in the 9th against the Milwaukee Brewers. Incredible stuff. They battled back. They tied it in the 9th. They forced extra innings, and then this happened in the 10th.
Pitch. Rip. That's a base hit down the left field line. The Reds have come off the mat, and they have finally beaten the Brewers.
How big a deal is it that they snapped Milwaukee's 14-game winning streak, 1 to 10?
I'll give it a 6. This is good. I mean, look, they're like the only wild card team on the outside looking in that's, they're only a game and a half out right now. Cleveland kind of, went down right there, which I think we're about to talk about.
Either league.
What's that?
You're talking about in either league.
Either league, yeah. I'll give it a 6. They could have swept this series. So that's why it's not higher for me. I mean, you have an 8-1 lead in game 1. You cough it up. You go into extras. You give up a 3-run homer to a guy, pinch hitter. Like they could have swept this series, but it's nice for them to win the last one. So I'll give it a 6.
Yeah, I'll give it actually an 8. But I'm going to look at it from Milwaukee's vantage point. I could not believe that they did it again, man. Their ability to come back late in games throughout this streak has been insane. I think I tweeted out something after they went ahead with the home run. I think it was Contreras that hit it, right?
Yep.
I mean, and he's got his arms in the air around the bases. Like, that was a big moment. They just have an ability, man. They're freaking unreal. And I am going to ask the question on this show. I don't know if it's going to be this week or not. Do you think that Brewers fans have now reached the point where their season will be a disappointment if they don't make the World Series?
Oh, my God. No.
No. We'll chew on that.
All right. I'll answer it already. No.
Okay. That'll be a good question for us at some point. Maybe we'll do it on tomorrow's show. Good job by the Reds. I'll be seeing them out in Anaheim this week for some content. Marcelo Meyer, bad news for the Red Sox rookie. Season-ending wrist surgery, 1 to 10 scale. How important?
For the Red Sox, a 2 or a 3. For him, a 5. Like, he'll be okay, have a full offseason to recover. Got a taste, understands what it's like. But for the Red Sox, I don't think they'll miss a beat.
I think you nailed it on both team aspect and personal. I'll go a little higher than 5, though, for Meyer. Only played 91 games in 2022, wrist injury. 2023, only 78 games, shoulder injury. Last year, played 77 games, missed the end of the year with a back injury. 4 straight years where he he's missing substantial time in a season. And I know that some of them are a little whatever, freakish, and that stuff happens. Nobody's going to label him anything, but I remember when I had the conversation with Royce Lewis at the beginning of last season, and we talked about injury prone. He's like, dude, I ran into a tarp. I blew out my ACL. Like, that's freak stuff. Well, it has continued this season. And when you bring up the name Royce Lewis, the first thing people unfortunately will bring up is injury history. And with this kid, we haven't seen it at the major league level yet, but people will be watching.
Okay.
It's too bad. But get well. Get well. Finally, we had one of the great endings of the year out in Colorado, who actually swept a series. Juan Mejia gets his first major league save. He's on the mound, and then he's playing second base. He chases after the shallow infield pop-up, crashes into teammates, ends up on his back, sprawled out. We were like, oh, my God, is he okay? He had a big smile on his face. He gets up. Yeah, there he goes. Well, how about this on a scale of 1 to 10?
I mean, it was a ridiculous baseball play. I'm sorry. Like, that is something like both second baseman, first baseman, like, what just happened right there? He looked like Squints, when Squints fakes drowns and he's just laying there. And then all of a sudden he opens his eyes and winks before he kisses Wendy.
That's good.
Kind of what he looked like right there.
Hey, Dan, put up the original video of that real quick. I think there's runners on second and third, aren't there? Are there runners on second and third there?
Yeah.
Yes. If that ball gets away from him, the Diamondbacks take the lead.
Yes.
To me, this is a 10. It's the way it ended and the fact that, like, Sean Payton of the Broncos wanted to ink him to a deal so he could be on the like, if you're going to go across the middle in traffic and hang onto the ball, you can play on my team. That was awesome.
Why is he even there?
No idea. Zero.
He'll cover first base, bro.
There's zero idea. That was great. Good for him. This episode of Baseball Today, it is brought to you by Built. By now, hopefully you've heard of Built, where you can earn points on your monthly rent payment. But did you know that they make it possible for you to get more outside of your home as well? By paying rent through Built, you earn flexible points that can be redeemed toward hundreds of hotels and airlines, a future rent payment, your next Lyft ride, and much more. But it doesn't stop there. Built is about making your entire neighborhood more rewarding. You can dine out at your favorite local restaurants, earn additional points, get VIP treatment at certain fitness studios, and enjoy exclusive experiences just for Built members each and every month. Built is turning a monthly expense into an opportunity to earn rewards and discover the best that your neighborhood has to offer. Your rent, it is finally working for you. Earn points on rent and around your neighborhood wherever you call home by going to joinbuilt.com/today. That is JOINBILT.com/today. Make sure you use our URL so that they know we sent you. It makes so much sense, for goodness sakes, for paying rent. Why not earn points? Come on, people. Let's get on the Built train. We end with this. No idea what I was looking at last night with Victor Robles. Mariners outfielder rehabbing at AAA. Joey Estes, former A's pitcher, now in the minors, hits him with a pitch. Boom! Robles fires the bat at him, gets ejected, starts throwing the seeds all over the field. What sort of penalty are we looking at here?
I have no idea. I know he got hit a bunch. I think
3 times.
5 times.
This week.
I thought it was 5.
Well, I thought it was 3, including by Estes on Tuesday, who also hit him last season, 2024, in the big leagues with a pitch.
I think he was really embarrassed that he swung also. Like, that was a factor there. Like, that just was an embarrassing at bat. Like, he swung. I don't know. I don't know what Major League Baseball does here. I have no idea. Usually when you're doing rehab assignments and you're the only guy with a single flap helmet, everyone knows you're the big leaguer. like you're just kind of like down there and there's no stress. You're just chilling.
Yeah. So he did put out an apology on Instagram where he did say, yes, it was 5 times in 15 at bats. He also added his mom had just passed away. So he might not be right.
Yeah, I still don't know if they would suspend him or not. I'm very sorry to hear about his mom. The 5 times getting hit in 15 at bats, that sucks. But you have to control yourself.
Did you just say I don't know if they'll suspend him? If you don't get suspended for
I don't know what they're going to do. I said I don't know what they'll do, like as far as suspension. I don't know.
If they suspended him the rest of the season, it wouldn't shock me. He threw a bat at somebody. Threw a bat.
I don't know if he's going to suspend the rest of the season. What did Josh Donaldson get suspended, or Manny Machado? What did he get suspended? He threw a bat.
He did. That was a little different. I do. On the follow through, throwing it in the direction of the third bat, I didn't love it at all. I hated it. I think that was at least a 5-game.
And did Torrey Hunter get suspended for throwing the baseball back of the
and Danny Baez?
Yeah.
Once again, I think those are a little different than throwing a bat.
Yeah, it was a bad look. I think he probably will get suspended. I just don't know for how long. I don't think the rest of the year.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be.
A lot of money out the pocket, man.
It is. It is. And I do feel terribly. I mean, listen, as somebody who's lost both their parents, your head is all over the place and everybody reacts differently. And I've never been hit by 95 in the wrist. And I certainly haven't been hit 5 times in 15 at bats. So I'm not pretending to say, well, how could he react that way? Because I have never been there. But there's a reason we don't have people throwing bats at pitchers when they get hit by pitches. It just should not happen. It is a terrible, terrible thing. And that's too bad. I know it's been a lost season for him after making that incredible catch this year. I think it was in San Francisco where he injured his shoulder and the whole bit. But, man, that video is just like I don't know why we can't see the backside of it. That's the one thing I don't think we've seen enough of.
Oh, like where the bat ends up?
Yeah. Have you seen that?
I haven't. I'm assuming it didn't hit anybody or else we...
Do you know what... Dan, put up the video one more time. Do you know what the best part of this is? So it's a AAA game and everything's sponsored in those broadcasts. Watch what the wipe is when they go from what injury law.
Poor Seeds. The Seeds didn't do anything.
The Seeds. They're always the innocent victims of this. Those in the Gatorade coolers.
And your helmet, too. Yeah.
Over under 10.5 game suspension.
Under, I think it's a week. I think it's 7 games.
Okay.
Yeah. For some reason, this sounds terrible. For some reason, because it happened in AAA, I don't think it's going to be like as much.
Interesting. I would set it over. I would actually better over unders 9.5 because then you'll go triple digit or double digits. I'll go over just for fun.
I think the fact that he apologized right away means something.
Yeah. Yeah. Not good.
Okay.
All right. We're back at it again on Tuesday. Fun-filled stuff. Great weekend, Players Weekend. I wish that they would allow them to use the bats and cleats longer than the weekend. I think that's important. I think kids want to see that fun stuff. I'd make it a month. Why not? What? You don't like them too much?
I like them. Am I just I'm just the old grumpy man today, huh?
But I don't understand. Like, why can't we have more?
I don't like the bats.
You do or don't?
I don't like the bats. So for some reason, it kind of like ruins my viewing experience a little bit. The cleats, everything else, they basically do whatever they want anyway. So I don't care about that. I've gotten used to that and it doesn't bother me. But for some reason, the bats are...
They bother you, huh?
Yeah.
God, you just came off a vacation. I would say you need a vacation, but you just came off.
I'm in a great mood. I'm just trying to... Look, facts are facts, Chris. Kids need to respect more people.
So because you use a Curious George bat, that doesn't mean that you... Michael Harris had 6 different bats he used.
I did like that.
Trying to get hits with all 6.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Come on, man. Have a little levity in your life. I'm supposed to be the cranky old man on this show. Stop taking my job.
I'm doing great.
All right, we're back at it again tomorrow for our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our awesome intern, Sawyer. That is the uber-talented, if cranky sometimes, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Tuesday here on Baseball Today, presented to you by Mountain Dew.